At 9:15 every morning, my business messages me. It tells me how much money has come in, how much is still owed, who I'm waiting on, what happened yesterday, and what needs me today. And I didn't write a word of it. In fact, nobody did. Producing it costs less than a penny a day. Let me show you what's in it, and then let me show you the thinking behind it. For 20 plus years, I was a management consultant, and a decent chunk of that was building reporting for FTSE companies and global companies, the kind of dashboards that took a project team and a six-figure budget of 3 months of workshops before anyone saw a single number. Now, what I'm about to show you does more than most of them, and it runs from a laptop here in Surrey that I set up without writing any code. This is what mine looks like. I'm using demo data here because, well, no offense, but I'm not going to show you my real data. At the top, money, what's been invoiced this month against my target, what's actually been paid, and the gap between those two, which, if you run a small business, you'll know is the number that predicts whether next month is going to be stressful or not. And it reads that live from my invoice ledger. Then who I'm waiting on. So every open conversation with the date attached. If I told someone I'd check back with them on Friday, it resurfaces on Friday whether I remember it or not. Then yesterday, the meetings it listened to, what was agreed, which numbers moved, and there's one section that only appears when something actually needs me. Most days it's empty, and so that silence is kind of designed in on purpose. When I installed this for a client and her first brief landed, the reaction on the recording was 3 words: what a result. Later in the same session, she called it a game changer. Now, you might be thinking, I've already got dashboards, I've got the account software, I've got the analytics, I've got a spreadsheet. And that's exactly the space I was in too. So let me draw you what I think is actually going on and how I think about it. There are 4 steps between a fact existing somewhere and you doing something about it. Okay, so this is the information ladder. Oops. I'm just going to change the font here, the colour. Right, so we've got 4 rungs of the information ladder. That's the first one, second one, and fourth one. So the first one is basically raw information. So this is essentially all the data that exists somewhere in your business. It could be in your bank, it could be your invoicing software. So this already exists somewhere and it's raw data. The next one is reported information. So this is basically that raw data, but pulled up to a dashboard or a spreadsheet of some sort. Okay, and literally every tool ever sold to you covers these 2. Then the layer above that is the interpreted layer. So this is basically, what does this mean to me? So let's say that dashboard tells you that your sales have gone down by 11%. Now, is that a bad month, or is there an actual problem there that we need to solve? So that's basically, it's that interpretation of what is the reported data telling you. What does it mean? And then the top of the information ladder is the decision. So what's been decided? What am I actually going to do with this? Okay, so this bit is still you every day. That is the way that I think about information, which leads somewhere quite uncomfortable if you own a lot of dashboards. Another dashboard just makes you slower, not faster. Think about what a dashboard actually is in the language of the map that I drew in the last video. A dashboard doesn't remove a red dot or a bottleneck. A dashboard adds one. It's simply one more thing sitting there waiting for you to come and look at and think about and decide. It's like you've bought yourself another obligation and called it visibility. Now, I had 6 of them. I looked at maybe 2, felt guilty about 4, and then still started every morning not knowing what my business or how it was doing. So the thing that changed my mornings wasn't a better dashboard. It was moving where the climb happens. So my system does all 4 rungs before I wake up, and what arrives on my phone is the top one, the decisions with the numbers attached underneath in case I want to check. The gathering of that data comes first, the thinking comes second, and that order matters more than anything technical, because AI sitting on top of scattered data just leads to confident guessing. Now, you'd assume this took a developer and 5 figures. Well, it took neither. I actually just described what I wanted in plain English, and Let's be honest, the first version was very embarrassing, but it did save me an hour a day. What it doesn't do, it doesn't act on anything it reads. It reports and reminds. Decisions stay with me, and once a month I go and check the source numbers myself, because trust in a system is something that is gained over time and you need to verify it. Now count your dashboards, your reports and your spreadsheets, all of them, including the one you built in a burst of enthusiasm on Lovable and haven't opened since. Now ask of each one, has this ever told me what to do? Whatever gap that leaves is work you're still doing by hand every morning without noticing you're doing it. The scorecard below will size it up for you properly if you'd rather not guess. The brief tells me what needs answering. It doesn't actually answer anything, and that's deliberate. That is a separate part of the system, and it's also the reason I stopped doing email at the weekend. Now emails can write themselves and they're waiting for me in my drafts folder. If you'd like to see how, that's this video up here.